Evan.
We're back. I'm at a new place. Brand
Yeah,
new.
brand new. Your background's as blank as my shirt.
It sure is, yeah. I still have all my posters like rolled up over there that I gotta fix and make better. My mom was talking about doing like portraits this time around or something like that. But yeah, moved in Tuesday, feeling good, feeling good. Yeah, not much else to say there. This whole room is gonna be like it's a bigger room than my last podcast room. I was in a sunroom last time, but now I'm in like a bigger spare bedroom.
Nice.
So pretty good, pretty good, pretty good. But yeah, busy week in general in terms of movies and TV. Alien Earth episode 5 was
Yeah.
phenomenal. Loved it. And then we had Peacemaker. I keep saying Peacemaker episode 3, season 2.
Muscle.
What?
Peacekeeper's muscle.
Exactly. References less, or I guess over a minute in. Nice. But yeah, that was an insane. It was a shorter episode, but still some fun stuff to talk about there with Peacemaker as well. But yeah, I think we start off actually outside of the TV news or TV shows with some movie news. Man of Tomorrow, Nathan. That is surprising. I mean, we knew that James Gunn. Boom! I love it. There we go. Superman Saga.
Yeah.
We knew that James Gunn. We knew he was working on
sound effects into the StreamYard.
I know Josh was talking about it during our podcast. When the fuck was that? Was that yesterday? What's today? Friday? It was Wednesday. Josh kept like pressing the boo. It felt like a good old Nick at Night. When the guest star appears. It's Oprah. But
it was never
so again, never. We knew it was James Gunn working on the next movie in the Superman saga. He kept on saying, and he continues to say, this is not a Superman sequel. It's not a direct sequel. Mainly because I think Peacemaker season 2 is kind of the out of left field sequel to Superman, unorthodox wise. You know, he did say a lot of the events in Peacemaker season 2 will lead directly into, not directly, maybe he used the words directly, but he said a lot of the events in Peacemaker season 2 will tie in sharply to like Man of Tomorrow or what's coming up next in the DCU. So again, we have to keep our eyes on everything that transpires in in Peacemaker season 2. But what do you think about this Man of Tomorrow officially revealed, coming out? I want to get the release date right because I just dropped the ball there. I think it's like July 2027.
27. Yeah. Well, first off, the idea that we are not going any years without anything Kryptonian. Like, we got Superman, Supergirl next year, Man of Tomorrow the following year. How exciting.
That's super exciting. It's wild, Nathan. That did you ever expect, after watching the Batman Part 1, came out 2022, that we'd get 3 Superman movies in the time it takes to make one Batman sequel.
We'll get like 5 main DCU projects made, maybe even 6 before the Batman 2. Now, that being said, the Batman Part 2, the same year as Man of Tomorrow, and I can't prove it, but it's the same. It must be the same.
I mean, I know exactly what you mean. Like, again, Man of Tomorrow comes out July 9th, 2027. Which, again, 2027 summer season is already shaping up to be super stacked. Just 2 weeks before Man of Tomorrow is my most anticipated movie of that year.
Yeah.
Beyond the Spider-Verse.
There's so many movies in 2027.
Yeah. Beyond the Spider-Verse, there's Man of Tomorrow, Batman Part 2, that's October, but not summer. But like it's insane.
Avengers, Sonic,
Avengers, Sonic,
Hunt for Gollum, Lord of the Rings, Star Wars.
Yeah, that's still on track. Yeah.
So much.
Oh yeah. Starfighter comes out that year as well.
50th anniversary Star Wars, wild.
But yeah, Man of Tomorrow. It's not called Superman Man of Tomorrow. And this is what's super fascinating, Nathan. James Gunn shared an image, and it showcased I think it was a custom image too. Like I don't know if this is from a specific comic book or anything. I think it was penciled by somebody.
Well, it's definitely like newer because like the image it's David's suit for Superman.
Yeah.
Now the interesting bit is that there was image shared, like art of Clark and Lex shared by not only James Gunn but also David Cornsweet shared one, and so did Nicholas Hoult. And all three of them posted different art of the same vibe of but different poses, different art, and all three were by three different comic artists. I can't remember the time. I think Jim Lee might have been on James's post, but it was really cool to see.
I didn't know they're all three different art. I didn't take that much I didn't look too deeply into it. I was looking at the comments that they shared.
I was
looking at the signatures in the comments, but I didn't see anything about the actual image itself. That's pretty interesting. But yeah, so we of course we obviously know Lex Luthor. He got arrested at the end of Superman. He'll be back, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Clark's gonna be back. Isabella Merced also shared the Instagram post from James Gunn saying she's super excited. So I can assume the Justice Gang will be back at least, right? Like you can assume Hawk Girl, Guy Gardner, and Miss Terrific could be back. Maybe smaller roles than the first movie, but still they're in this universe, so they're going to be part of the film in some way. What do you think about Supergirl? No confirmation yet, but I would assume she's in this.
I would assume so as well. I definitely foresee building up the Kryptonian family all together, especially if they're presumably going to be going against Brainiac, which a lot of people think will be happening. Also, on David's post, there's Aaron Pierre showed some support in the comments as well. Don't know if he's involved, but also so did Grant Gustin, who was previous Flash on CW. So
yeah, Grant Gustin has nothing to do with this universe, I would think.
Yet?
Yeah.
Watch him be like Jay Garrick now.
That would be funny as hell. A very young Jay Garrick. But yeah, he again, Flash from the DC TV side of things. But Aaron Pierre, that one would take a little bit more credibility that he could be in this because they are positioning his show, which is coming out early 2026. No release date yet for Lanterns, but it's done filming. They're deep in post-production. I would assume right now it's coming out like March. Knowing like HBO's schedule, I would say like a March, January through April. Kind of like in that Last of Us time slot, where Last of Us was this year. I think they'll position Lanterns for that like prestige early season TV show for HBO Max. But yeah, I can see Aaron Pierre getting a start there as John Stewart, and then coming right in the very next year after getting tons of buzz. That we know he's going to be amazing in Lanterns, then going right into Man of Tomorrow. That's going to be just super, super exciting. I still am very curious to see how Guy Gardner differentiates himself as a character between Superman, Man of Tomorrow, and what we see him in Lantern. Because Lantern is seemingly like a more serious show than the vibe of Superman. So maybe, I don't know, he could be just behaving differently.
I can see him getting more development in Lanterns, like comparatively to Hal and John.
Exactly. Me too. So yeah, I'm just super excited. So yeah, you said earlier, so you think, this is Superman, Lex Luthor, BVS style, where they fight, but then they're best friends. Not best friends, but just like reluctant allies against Brainiac?
I think it'll be reluctant allies, and then we will get a showdown in the later half when Lex sees an opportunity. That's what I would think. Because it's interesting. So like David and Nicholas's posts had like both of them, their drawings had them fighting each other. But James's one was just like Lex was in the suit, and then Clark was like leaning against the suit with like a screwdriver, like he was like helping them or something. So if that's any indication, I think like they'll work together, and then Lex is gonna Lex.
Yeah, Lex is gonna Lex. That needs to be on a T-shirt. But yeah, I can definitely see Clark again. I'm just envisioning his speech from Superman this year, and I can see him easily like not forgiving Lex, but being open to like, okay, I gotta work with this guy, whatever. Meanwhile, Lex is gonna be like stewing, and I can't wait to see like what the suit looks like. Again, the suit has already been like teased in these images, these concept. I wouldn't even say concept art, but just like announcement images. I wonder if we're gonna see actual Lex in a suit like that. That'd be kind of cool. Kind of weird, but cool.
I would presume to like be on a similar footing to Clark, like in the adventure for sure. Somebody suggested like an interesting idea because James was like going on about like how this isn't technically like Superman 2, even though it very much feels like it is. But that could be because maybe there'll be more of a like present focal point on Lex for the film, with like Clark as like a major supporting character to Lex's journey, like the same way like how integral Lois is to every Clark story, in that sense, like to that level of importance.
You think we get like a Hobbs and Shaw sit like with this movie?
Maybe I could see. I think for sure you're gonna get like way more development of Lex, which we know like James and everybody wants to see adapted, because he was just so passionate for his hate for Clark in the first film, and I think we'll get more so into it for this one.
Yeah, he was a scene stealer in every single scene. Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor. So yeah, I'm envisioning kind of like a Hobbs and Shaw, or just like the movie is called Man of Tomorrow. It's not called Superman : Man of Tomorrow. That Man of Tomorrow could be just emblematic of the themes of the movie, where Lex envisions himself as the Man of Tomorrow, as like the super special being, while Superman, that's just his moniker because of who he is. So I could see them again going into that final speech and that final fit of rage from Lex as well. It's just like he envisioned himself to be as special as Clark, even more so. Given all his accolades from just his own natural talent and genius. That'd be super exciting. But yeah, as a huge Supergirl fan, I hope we get news that she's also confirmed to be on board for the ride, because I do think Supergirl is mostly be either like a prequel story to Superman, or takes place. I don't know where the timetable. I still don't know where the timetable is going to be for Supergirl, because the Supergirl comic book is all shit that happens, I think, before she arrives, or maybe I don't know the timetable for Supergirl.
I believe it's after, because one of like the big characteristic factors for Kara in that story is that she feels kind of overshadowed by her cousin on Earth.
Oh, you told me this. Yes. Okay. Yeah.
So I think it'll be like I think it'll be after this first Superman movie and before this one.
Okay, that works even better then. Yeah. So it'll just be her in outer space, kind of like Captain Marvel, where it's not much of an Earth-based kind of story. We already know that it's a super cosmic adventure. But then you see Man of Tomorrow, and she'll have a more pivotal role on Earth, helping out Clark and friends. So here's hoping that's the case.
I think it's absolutely for sure is going to be set after the first Superman movie, because Krypto has a function in the storyline, and he's back with her. So I think it has to be.
Yeah, I can't wait for that first trailer, guys. I think we might have to wait until early 2027 or 2026 to see the trailer. I don't think a July movie like Supergirl is one of the things you see like in December. I think the December trailers they peak at like May releases. So
do you think it drops maybe like after Lanterns concludes, like maybe like a week or so after?
Yeah, around that same. It'll be Supergirl will definitely be having this promotional cycle during Lanterns for sure. So yeah.
Do you think Lanterns will set up any like cosmic elements to roll into Supergirl?
Maybe. I wouldn't be surprised if like again, I'm not a huge Superman person. Don't go in the comments, whatever. But I don't know where the character of Brainiac originates from. I don't know if it's like from like some kind of weird planet or something. But like the Lanterns deal with crazy extraterrestrial threats, and I can see them being like, oh, like I can see like a warning or something happening at the end of Lanterns that kind of alludes to something is going to be attacking Earth soon, and it'll end up being Brainiac, something along those lines. So yeah, that's a very good pool, Nathan. I could definitely see Brainiac. Again, we keep saying Brainiac. It's not confirmed at all.
No,
it's going to be Brainiac. That just makes the most sense at this point. Like, what threat requires to the smartest person on the planet Earth, Lex Luthor, and like the strongest person, Superman? What threat requires both of those talents? It seems to be Brainiac. So, I'm not sure what other threat there could be, but it's James Gunn. He was always known for pulling out like DC level threats and making them seem very, very cool. Like, who was the antagonist for Guardians 3? The creator, the maker, or something like that?
The engineers? No, that's from Superman.
I forget his name already.
I know you're talking about that.
But yeah, just like an out of left field villain, but he was so good. And he fit so well for Guardians 3 and everything. So
great actor.
Whether it's Brainiac or whatever, I'm confident that James is finding a suitable antagonist for this movie.
I wonder if it. Granted, I don't know how the comic book function of it, but a big factor with Brainiac is the bottle city of Kandor, where like it's like a shrunken city with civilians living in this like bottle, and I wonder if like the development of like stuff with the pocket dimensions or like Peacemaker's like interdimensional rift thing is going to have a factor that leads into the function of Kandor. I don't know personally. But that would lead me to believe why we all kind of expect Brainiac as a coming up situation.
Yeah, that would make a lot of sense. I wasn't even thinking that, but yeah, the whole idea of like pocket dimensions and different universes, that's very pivotal to what's going on in Peacemaker season 2. So that could easily tie more directly into Man of Tomorrow than even something in Lanterns. So yeah, that's about it for Man of Tomorrow. The other piece of movie news that they did announce was that before we go to Man of Tomorrow, like you said, the Batman Part 2 comes out October. And I just want to get on board here that I also agree with you. It's like we're going to be in 2027. We're going to be year 3 of the DCU because technically, for all intents and purposes, it started this year, even though we had Creature Commandos at the end of last year. The DCU first kind of got its big explosion. Superman made nearly $630 million. Big success. Supergirl is going to come out tomorrow or next year. Hopefully, be a big success. It's sandwiched between some pretty heavy hitters now. Next summer, but I think the Ice Age, Shrek, Toy Story.
I think they're gonna need to bank on not only like the iconography of like the Superman look, but also since Crypto's in it, probably like big factor there because he was a big standout from the first movie. So I think people will see that in the market and be like, oh, another adventure in DC and the super family and Crypto and everything. Yeah, I'm there.
Exactly. And I'll be more scared of Supergirl's box office chances if it was also animated, because like an animated movie coming out, there's no competition with Toy Story 5. Regardless of how you feel about that franchise now, it's like it's going to make $1 billion. So
I think there's also like
different
there's also the added benefit that like similar to like the long running issue with Marvel is like not a lot of woman standalone heroes film projects. Even with DC, like I really only think like they did Wonder Woman. Not much else. Yeah.
Wonder Woman and then Birds of Prey was a flop. Not their fault, but
Yeah, but yeah, and then we had also already like experienced Harley for the first time in that. But when it came to like looking at Marvel's side, Captain Marvel was the first like big thing that they did, and like that made $1 billion. But then like similarly, Black Widow didn't like hit as well because it was like a little like late to be doing that project, and also COVID and whatnot. But with DC, like they did Wonder Woman and a Wonder Woman sequel again inside COVID. So this, and then obviously like there's been women heroes that have been like featured in like properties like Shazam and whatnot, Birds of Prey, like you said. But this will be like a big like, hey, Supergirl. That is a big thing. That was a big show on the CW as well. Ran for 6 seasons. Like the attachment to the character is absolutely there. So to see her big screen adaptation, especially compared to like what they did in the 80s to like what they can do now, and with the vibe that we know that they're bringing to Kryptonians in this new universe, I think is all powering up to be a great success in the public eye.
I agree with everything you're saying. I completely agree. I think it's going to be fresh, it's going to be unique, and it's sandwiched between 2 sequels that people already know about. But again, I don't think they expected to make like as much as Superman 600 million, but I think it'll make like around Thunderbolts. Even if Thunderbolts was deemed like a failure a little bit for Marvel this year. But I don't know the budget of Supergirl. I think it might cost less than even Thunderbolts. But yeah. So again, right now it's coming out June 26th. Supergirl. The previous Friday, one before that would be Toy Story 5. And less than a week after Supergirl, the following Wednesday is when Mega Minions comes out. So that's why people are very, very nervous. And then followed up by Moana live action.
Jesus Christ.
But next summer is just stacked. I don't know where else they could go. They could try and compete with Devil Wears Prada 2 all the way at May 1st. But Devil Wears Prada 2 is going to be big. Mortal Kombat 2 is going to be, Mortal Kombat.
Not to like be so bold as to move it up, but like if you were to like move it up, do you think there'd be any way?
I'm trying to see. Mando and Grogu is May 22nd. May 1st is the only one without like a big block. Oh, you're going all the way to March
or April.
April is Super Mario World.
There's Super Mario back. What animation?
Is that the Super Mario sequel? No way, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. I mean, I guess it's since 2021, so.
Chris Pratt, Anya Taylor-Joy, I guess so.
Okay. Well, that's gonna do nice.
That's gonna be yikes. The Michael movie is April 24th. April 17th is The Mummy. So April was pretty stacked. Like I don't know where else they could go. The Mummy. Remember Lee Cronin?
Oh, that's right. It's been a minute since we talked about that. That's exciting.
I'm excited. Yeah. So I don't think they would go. I don't think they would go all the way up to March or April. But like, they could compete with Masters of the Universe. I think it's gonna flop. But that's June 5th though. So yeah, we'll wait and see. I'm confident in Supergirl. But either way, as I was saying, 2027 then is going to be Man of Tomorrow coming out in July. I don't know the July 2027 release date calendar. But either way, that's 3 Superman movies in the span of 3 years without a single notion of what the DCU Batman is going to look like. And that's just very fascinating.
Because we know.
Because I think it's just important to establish by year 3 of the DCU who your freaking Batman is. If like I'd be shocked if they go that far without even a tease of like the most popular superhero of all time. Like, come on.
I think if we are going like brand new casting, like yes, I absolutely agree. We need to get something situated in the public view. But if it is Pattinson, like we hope, it can easily be teed up in something like Man of Tomorrow, where you could just reference Gotham, reference an image of him in like a newspaper or something, and it's like, oh shit, because people will instantly clock it because the Batman is such a popular film since its release, and it's in Rob's depiction that everybody will instantly clock and be like, oh shit, he's in it, and that's going to be like such a big talk of the town. And then immediately in the same year, heading into the Batman 2, be like, okay, cool. Now will you be there watching like, okay, how is this going to function moving forward in the greater DCU? But you're also just going to be excited of like, what is Matt Reeves doing for a sequel? And it's just going to like help the properties all together in tandem.
I completely agree. I think, you do the old Harry Potter shit where you look at a newspaper and you zoom in on the newspaper and it's just like Sirius Black. Sirius Black. but you do that and the image would be like Robert Pattinson's Batman. That'd be amazing. And it'll be so seamless too, because again, the easy scenario for this is just to say that this took place in the past, and especially if the rumors are true and there is a Robin in the Batman Part 2, by the time we see him in our current DCU, this Robin could be Nightwing, which they're already setting up with Teen Titans. So like it could all be connected in some kind of way.
I wonder if like they would have to then do a time jump for Bruce, because he was playing like Rob was obviously playing younger than he actually is, but now he's like about to enter his 40s, so it's like, do we just play on that? Like establish a time jump? Like Gotham is no longer flooded. Like I don't know.
Yeah, you just say like, I don't know. There's no direct time for Gotham, right? It didn't say like 1977.
They might have like referenced like 2020s, like one of the years. I'm sure it's in there. Like it's either in there or it's in the Penguin, but like it is. I'm pretty sure.
I want to look this up now.
It probably is just like the release date year.
So I didn't watch the Batman thinking this took place in 2022.
I don't know, man. The Penguin was on TikTok in one of the episodes.
Oh my gosh, you're right. What was TikTok a thing in the Penguin?
It was for like a scene to like he located one of the mob boss kids because he was fucking around.
That's crazy.
TikTok is a canon in the DC.
I remember this. Yeah. That's crazy. Because again, I
never going to reveal Rob in Superman. It's gonna be someone scrolling. It's like that blur and like what?
Jimmy Olsen's like, yo, Clark, what's going on with this bad guy? And it's like Robert Pattinson beating somebody up. I'm like, oh shit. That actually no joke, Nathan. That reminder changes things for me.
Oh yeah, the shift tone.
Because I just whenever I watched Batman Part 2 a lot or Part 1 a lot, but I never realized like because it's just the aesthetic of Gotham, it just screams 70s or at least like 80s, 90s.
Sure. I think also a big thing that I think a lot of people don't really think about in regards to like plugging Pattinson's Batman into like a brighter DC setting, especially with someone like Superman, is I think a big prominence of why that does work is the ending itself of the Batman, where Batman is actively helping people in the daylight and like helping survivors of the flood get to the paramedics. And I love that shot in the finale where he's sending a girl up with the paramedics, but like she like grips his arm for safety because she feels safe with Batman. And like the idea, like I can very much now see, like at the start of the film, absolutely it's just a loner Batman, but by that end I can very much see this being a public figure in a team like the Justice League side by side.
That also tracks. I like the way you're cooking because like by the time we see him, it's like he's gonna be a very public figure, very important. And again, now that I'm way lessening down the timeline of the Batman Part 1 compared to Superman, it would make sense because, like you said, he's a newer hero, but because of all his shit that he's doing in Part 1 and what he'll eventually do in Part 2, he'll become like a newer entity or a newer established superhero. And I'm curious to see if Matt Reeves plays on that because him being a fresher hero in their eyes was a big deal in Part 1. They didn't know whether to trust him. By the end, like you said, when the paramedic scene happens, it's a showcase of how the citizens are coming to understand who this vigilante is. The cops are doing it, and now the citizens are doing it. They're understanding who the Batman is. Now that they know who he is, now that he's established himself, how does his arc change in the Batman Part 2? I wonder if Matt Reeves and the other writers are going to tackle that new status quo.
There's also like a fun opportunity, like if you were to like try to develop a Bat family and explore a time gap, there is a great avenue you can explore that was introduced in the beginning of the Batman where Bruce is actively recounting his nights out and journaling them. You could have him like journal throughout the years we've missed with him and just like kind of montage some things, just like he'll be like in his cave and you just like gradually see the stack of notebooks grow and grow around as the years goes on. I could very much see like a very functioning montage of Bruce himself narrating, catching us up on the events, and especially if we do get to something like a Robin.
Do you think he would reference, like, if it gets confirmed that the Batman Part 2 takes place in the same universe as Superman, which again, not even close to being confirmed, would that be referenced via dialogue in the movie? Would they go as far as that? Or I think James Gunn wants to make things like keep it separate for now. But like,
I think they'll keep it separate in the sense like you could have Bruce reference something like the idea of like metahumans and Superman, Metropolis and stuff, but while the public, he might say something like while the public is cheering over these bright colors, like I have to focus on the corruption of my city and like stay focused, and things are only going to get worse before they get better, shit like that. And he's just like locked in on like I need to help Gotham and focus here. I can't think about all that stuff going on my business is here.
Which always like I used to be on the other side of this, but the Batman has a completely different aesthetic to what's going on, and Superman and definitely Peacemaker. But I think it definitely works. It still will definitely work. It happens in the comic books all the time. A Batman comic is way different from a Superman comic, and they work. So
as I always said that from the jump.
I know. But because I also, the way that James Gunn has been talking about his Batman, I think it screamed that he wanted to go very comic booky with his take.
I think
is not the take that Matt Reeves is going for.
I think he absolutely did. I think like even just like from like the first wave of Gods and Monster chapter announcement. They were just like, "Oh, we're gonna do a whole new thing because we want to do everything like brand new and clean and like have the universe function. We want to go as comic booky as we can. Establish heroes that are still growing. Like here's Superman year 3, but he's still growing. He's still not his full strength that he's gonna be later around the Justice League time. We're gonna have a Batman who has a full Bat family so that we can explore these different avenues." I absolutely see why James wanted to do that from the jump. But I think as things were developing and they were ironing out everything for the DCU, which I think is shaping up really well, Peacemaker's running really smoothly. It makes super excited for Lanterns. Clayface is shooting right now, and it looks really interesting. Like all this stuff, I think is going to work and be fresh in all these different angles. And I think as stuff was developing and trying to think like how Batman is also just such a gigantic thing to also get right, let alone Superman. That trying to focus on all that, I think he maybe like took a step back and was like, okay, if I was to explore what Matt's doing and try to plug it in, how could we do that? How would that look? And I think as that, this is all assumption, but like I think as more as James was thinking about that and how I see in every interview, he's like propping up Matt Reeves in his Batman stuff, that I think we're closer to that than ever before. And he's probably like, I have it here. Everybody loves it. Let's just plug it in.
I agree. But just to end this conversation on some devil's advocate,
sure.
Not saying that I would even want this, but we got to, put this on record. There's also a very high chance that they just, the Batman saga end with part 2, and they continue on with a new Batman and a very new DCU that is more closely aligned with what's happening with Superman. If that was to be the case, I think you would have to get the Batman, if it's still called Brave and the Bold, you'd have to get that out by like 2028. We can't be going into 2029 with no Batman. That'd be baffling to me. So even though I know people are saying like, there's already news about Wonder Woman and Teen Titans, so that could be like the main DC movie of 2028. But I'm like, for me, I'm just like, you have to establish. It'll be like the MCU having gone from like starting an Iron Man, but then not having a Captain America until like 2012. Like you have to get this shit like on point to establish your universe. So yeah, if they want to do Batman, new casting, they could announce it later this year and then just have him be, announce it as early as possible to get people, aware that there is going to be for a period of time to Batman, and then have him teased still in Man of Tomorrow.
Yeah, I absolutely can see that. And, I also think like you need to, like you said, with the Iron Man's Cap situation, you need to have these characters like super established before you get to anything like a big crossover like Justice League, which I know obviously they're going to want to do and like get right because they took a swing before and it didn't mesh. But now, like, yeah, absolutely. You gotta do the Batman. You gotta do the Wonder Woman. Luckily we're teaming up everything really nice. Superman, Supergirl are on track. Great like 3 different Green Lanterns, and I think they're all going to crush. We already have the establishment of the Justice Gang, which is obviously a seed planted of like what it's going to be. We have the Hall of Justice in the very first movie. They want to get there, but we need to connect with the characters first before we get it. And we can't just like, and here they all are, and like here's the threat. We got to fight. Like let's take our time so that way when they are together, it's like, hey, look at this. That was a whole other thing that we've had criticism with the recent phases of Marvel is the fact that like we have all these new heroes that we only saw once before the crossover. They don't have any sequels to like big up them connectivity.
Great point to end on, Nathan, because that's so true. It's like I'm still just going back to the main topic of the day, Man of Tomorrow. We're getting a green-lit, fast-tracked sequel within months of Superman. It's still in theaters. You can go see Superman right now, I think. So it's just like a little bit, but like it's just remarkable that like we're getting a sequel that's so announced so fast, and it's not necessarily a sequel, but that kind of makes it even better. It's not necessarily a sequel, but we're going back to that universe Clark is going to be a major character, and there's still going to be room for a Justice League movie, or maybe another team up before a Justice League movie. I think it'll be very possible to do like a Superman and Batman and Wonder Woman. You could do like a trifecta movie before a Justice League movie if they really want to do that. Like I could see that easily happening the way that James Gunn is just like, cool, Man of Tomorrow, that makes sense. Not necessarily Superman 2, but another story with Lex and Clark. Like that's it's very fascinating. And James Gunn is taking his time while also fast tracking things that make sense. So, just over the moon for Man of Tomorrow, over the moon for the state of the DCU, which is just, again, they're riding high on some very, very, very good will, and they deserve it because Superman's one of the best movies of the year. But yeah, let's go into, let's stick with the DC. We always do Alien first, but let's stick with DC and just go to Peacemaker today. Is Eagly coming? I have bird blindness. Is this a duck coming?
That's right. Who takes advantage of a man's bird blindness?
That gag is still, it should not be as funny as it is. Not at all. But yeah, Peacemaker episode 3. We finally see Chris go into his alternate dimension where he's basically going full throttle into embodying Chris 2. Basically, I think that's what we're turning. I don't know, because on the subtitles they called it like Amelia Harcourt 2. Whenever she was speaking. I don't know what else to call her, but like these alternate versions of the characters. Chris is in this whole weird universe. We'll get into all that. While the other B plot is the rest of the team still dealing with like, the repercussions of being hungover. You have Harcourt, Adebayo, and Economos dealing with the aftermath of like where Peacemaker went, or at least Economos is. Where everybody else is just like dealing with some personal issues. Solid episode, very short, but I liked what was going on with Chris in this alternate dimension. And just to give like my major takeaway for this episode 3 here, I think we learned, while it was a shorter episode and in the back half it had some great action, I think we learned a lot about what this Peacemaker was like, what this Peacemaker 2 was like in this universe. We go in and Chris is constantly saying this is the best dimension ever. And I don't think that's a lie. I think it is built to be as like a very optimistic take on the Peacemaker character and his like influence on society. I think he was a heroic-ish character. I'll get into that in a second. Whereas like, he had him, his brother, and his father as a trio in this universe. The people love him. He's going down the street in a motorcycle. The people love him. So he's definitely known and beloved. However, I think this Chris number 2 as a character was basically, my vibe was that he was who Chris was in season 1 of Peacemaker without having been challenged by his friends. What I mean by that is I think this Chris number 2 character was a very like do I use the word selfish? It was a very selfish, maybe conceited character who disappeared a lot because his brother and father were like, he's off again. So he was known to disappear in this universe as well. And especially some of the bigger character stuff was when he was going one-man army, and at the end there, Harcourt was surprised that like Chris was doing this without wearing his suit. I think that's very important. Like Chris went in there without wearing his suit because he's like, people are in danger. I'm gonna go in there half cocked and murder everybody. I think the Peacemaker of the OG Peacemaker in this universe would have saw the Sons of Liberty being an issue and probably just like waited, got into his uniform, wanted to set himself up as like this superheroic figure, then maybe did it. He wasn't the type of character to just be like, people in danger, I'm jumping right in. I don't think that's what this Peacemaker character was, which was who Chris was at the beginning of season 1. He was a very like self-indulgent kind of character until he was like surrounded by friends who really challenged him and actually made him want to be better. That was kind of like the arc of season 1. And season 2 is dealing with trying to be better. But season 1, I think this Peacemaker is just like crowded with so much praise that it harmed his relationship with Harcourt. He probably didn't care to he probably cared about who Harcourt was, but
Mhm.
he let that go a little bit because of his like selfish indulgences.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think again, just long story short, this OG Peacemaker was kind of like a early version of who Chris was in season 1, who just wasn't challenged in this universe
Mhm.
because they all love him. So yeah.
Yeah, man. I think big ego on this alternate Peacemaker.
Yes.
For his players, I think he definitely is somebody who like they always show like the murals of like him, his brother, and his dad. I think he's probably like used to working in like that team element, but reaping the glory of the success, right? And yeah, like the idea that like oh he's not wearing like even the cop is like he's not wearing a suit, as which makes me wonder that like maybe that Peacemaker is more reliant on the technology with like a lot more fancy gadgets than our
Oh.
normal Chris has, because he also comes from like a loving father who was like, yeah, I'll help you and like advance you forward and I'll like give you everything you need. Whereas like the other one gave him shit for making like any new helmet update. And Chris has gone through so much hardship. Our Chris has gone through so much hardship that he has become a better hero because of it. He's a lot more committed to his craft, and he wants to be like a true hero. That's one of his fundamental characteristics. Like Chris wants to be better than people see him. He doesn't want to be that joke. The Peacemaker, what a joke! Callback that he internalized, especially from that moment with Rick, which is a whole other thing we're going to get into, which is really interesting about this episode. But yeah, I think our Chris is that true hero that the public recognizes in this world that our Chris truly is. But in that universe, Chris 2 isn't, and that's how everybody sees our main Chris in our main timeline. So I think that's
Yes.
an interesting like flip of the parallel. And that's why it's so interesting when like the characters like interact with like the second Hardcore, who is like taken aback of like, oh, he's like really like bringing like humility to him, and like there's some different about it. He was actually able to like stop this, like at the tail end, like the helicopter gets taken out by his brother, which I totally forgot uh, what he looked like in the suit. So he just came out of nowhere. I was like, what the
Yeah.
fuck is this? But then like he immediately crushes it, and he goes up to Chris, and he's like, "Did you stop the bomb?" He's like, "Yeah." I was like, oh my god, this is amazing! Like what a great time. Chris has done it, and to the whole public, it's like Peacemaker's done it again. But like internally, it's just like, man, I'm so proud of you. You were able to like do this. This is amazing. Because like our Chris did all that, no suit, no nothing. Like for a lot of he didn't even have a gun. Like he didn't get a gun till like the end.
No.
He was just, like in full melee, like using a printer. Like he was just strategic and like on it, because that's what Chris had to be. He had to hone his skills. He wasn't relying on the tech.
Yeah, and that's a good point. Like because of all the trauma that he experienced even before we knew him, like the death of his brother really shook Chris into being this like, you know, gun for hire character. And it's not until like again the Peacemaker series where we see more heart and more of like a big emotional swing for the character and what he was going through. And yeah, I fully agree there. I think this other Chris is reliant on technology. They did a lot of shots of like his Chris, the peace cycle, whatever it's called. That was like had a lot of weapons on it as well. And yeah, I just think his conversation with Hardcore 2 was very illuminating towards like, okay, this guy is not used to being so open at all. She was shocked about how open our Chris was. And then on top of that, yeah, I think this other guy is reliant, not as open, and he probably takes for granted, again, the relationship with the Hardcore, the relationship with his brother, he probably takes for granted. At the end of the episode, the brother was like, I don't see it as much as often as I should have, but like, I love you, and all kind of stuff. And I think that was kind of like their relationship. Like the Chris number 2 and this other version of his brother love each other, obviously, but like didn't speak it as much. They probably didn't have like the most well-connected relationship. So it's just very intriguing, which also does like makes me very excited to see like this other Chris's brother discover that this isn't his Chris. What's going to trigger him to realize that, if anything. Um, but yeah, also just the notion of Sons of Liberty continuing to be a problem. Hardcore says like, oh, it's the Sons of Liberty again. Our Chris took them out in seconds. They shouldn't have been an issue. But the fact that they were an issue for a long period, to lose the fact like this Chris number 2, this other Chris was just either ill-equipped to deal with it, or just like, again, ego-wise, he didn't like feel the need to instantly attack them or instantly, save the day for some reason or another. Because like the Sons of Liberty were a joke. They were just some like people
the
with
first
a cause
guy
that
accidentally fell and blew up. Like,
yeah. Like how was this a continuous issue for them at all? Like this was a day in the afternoon. That's why Chris was so surprised. He was like, people are loving me. This is just a normal bank heist, and they're loving me for this. Like this was easy. So that's why, again, he's like best dimension ever. He's getting crowded with that praise, which I think is going to directly affect our Chris's arc, and why eventually, because we all know he's going to have to get out of this universe. The common trope of like, I have it too good here, but like I miss my friends kind of thing. I think he'll eventually learn like, yeah, this universe just isn't for me. Again, he's not being challenged here. He's getting constant praise, which is good in the short term. You get that euphoria, but then after a while, you're like, you get so used to it. You get like, you sit on this pile of gold and you're just like, wait, I'm not progressing here. Which I think he needs to do. He needs to progress rather than just like sit on his laurels. So yeah. Anyways, what else do you have?
I also found it interesting that like they're having that conversation. Chris and Hardcore on the bench. It was just like I'm not gonna want to get back with somebody who breaks things off because I criticize his driving or something. It just shows just like how egotistical this Chris was in this universe.
Good point. Yeah.
But I do want to talk about like the big thing with the starting on the intro, which is Rick Flag Jr., Joel Kinnaman.
Joel Kinnaman is back, baby. Also some references to the 2016 Suicide Squad with June and the Enchantress character.
Yeah.
That was surprising.
Yeah. Now that is interesting. So I think this is a good, like that retroactive, like some stuff is and some stuff isn't, which like I don't think the first Suicide Squad movie happened because this opening takes place like moments before the events of the Suicide Squad where Rick dies.
Yes.
But he's talking like that he's in this relationship with June, with Enchantress, which wouldn't be the case by this point because I believe she dies in the movie and is the full villain and not as functioning to that relationship with Rick in this sense. So that's interesting, like little like what is and isn't types things,
Yeah, it's what James has been talking about. Like he's picking and choosing certain characters and certain aspects of Zack Snyder's like DC vision and just putting it into a more seamless, streamlined version here. Just a few words saying like, yeah, Enchantress was a character, and who knows when we see her, if we ever see her in this universe, she could be played by somebody completely different. I don't know what Cara Delevingne is even up to these days. Is she still acting?
I think she acts in a couple things, and I think she's still an active model. But yeah, I think they could absolutely get her if they wanted.
There was a run where she was like in a lot of movies, and then she hasn't been. Anyways, do you remember Paper Towns? Was that the movie she was in? Paper Towns?
I remember Paper Towns. I think that was like a late 2010s thing or mid 2010s.
Yeah. And then she was in that one movie with Harry Osborn. What was that called?
That one sci-fi. Yeah. I want to get the title. Give me like 10 seconds.
It's a weird title. It bombed.
For Wellness, right?
Oh no, that was a horror movie with homeboy Harry Osborn, but I don't think Cara Delevingne. She was in that one. It was a weird big sci-fi movie with like
no, yes, you're talking about Valerian in the City of a Thousand
Valerian. Yes. They don't make movies like that anymore.
What do you mean?
Just weird sci-fi that's gonna bomb. Those kind of movies.
It's interesting, like the amount of like movies I can think of that are like based on like a French comic. Like there's that old, and I think Edge of Tomorrow, maybe.
Edge of Tomorrow is based on a manga, but yeah. but still very funny. Speaking of that, the Edge of Tomorrow, they're doing the Edge of Tomorrow anime coming out early next year.
That's exciting.
It's going to be very, very highly anticipated. But yeah, I was shocked, and I love to see Joel Kinnaman back as Rick. He's such a great character. But what was so funny was, so this is interesting, right? So this took place in our normal Earth. He had a relationship with the Hardcore. I guess he was having an affair with Hardcore while dating June. But this adds so much interesting elements to Chris's relationship to Hardcore. Chris killed her ex-boyfriend, basically.
At the very least,
I think she had an emotional attachment. Yeah, a deep friend relationship with, which just goes into why she's being so hesitant to move forward with her relationship with Chris, who she has genuine feelings for, but is like constantly telling herself and to Chris and to others that like there's nothing going on with me and Chris. And I think she's fighting her attachment because of what Chris did to her in the past, which is so important because this is something that Chris is dealing with too. Like the death of Rick Flag Jr. is something I never expected to be such a big pivotal point. But it was the focus in season 1. It's an even bigger focus so far in season 2. Now with Rick Flag Sr., now the Hardcore is affected in this as well. So it's like his own arc of trying to be a better person is all around this death of Rick Flag. And now we see him in the flesh again, but in the other universe where he's a lot more pedestrian. I like how Joel Kinnaman was playing that. Like, I don't think there was some kind of like I don't think he had like a skinny suit on, but he looked more like skinny and more, again, pedestrian in the other universe at Argus than he was when he was Rick Flag Jr. in the Suicide Squad, all buff and ready to fight.
Maybe it's the collar shirt.
Maybe it just is the shirt. It's just like,
little brush over hair. It's just kind of like, it's like, hey, what's going on?
Hey, what's going on? The bumbling idiot hitting the trash can. Like Joel Kinnaman has some great like comedic talents, man. Like I could watch that guy all day long. So it was very, very fun interpretation here.
Yeah, and I was like always like that was one of my biggest bummers from the Suicide Squad was like losing him. I was like, oh, but he's so good at this. So I was very happy to get this bit here. And honestly, I really kind of want to revisit the Suicide Squad. I mean, I already like did in the past, and like I liked it more upon rewatch. But like I really want to revisit to see like how Hardcore and Economos work in that story as well, because they're both in it. That was their introduction. And we'll see Chris like from the jump, and again the stuff Rick Flag and everybody like, and Harley's there, which is fun. I imagine if they can, they will get Margot back at some point.
Yeah, I mean, like it's so hard to get a new version of Harley Quinn who's as good as like one of our best actresses of our generation in Margot Robbie right now. But I'm gonna put down Suicide Squad 2020, whatever the fuck that came out, 2021. Because I haven't watched that movie since theaters. But I remember really liking it, having a great time. Again, it is so. And I remember seeing clips I see clips all the time on Twitter where people talk about like how ballsy and how like masterfully directed the movie is compared to like everything else that James Gunn has done. But that was just a very fun call back to get Rick Flag back. Meanwhile, Rick Flag Sr. is still on the hunt for Peacemaker. Basically, he's assigning his like second in command to get there. I don't think this other universe is as good as it seems. Again, I didn't notice. Draven says, by the way, what's up, Draven? I didn't notice this until the second time I watched the episode, but I noticed there wasn't any minorities in the other dimension. Makes me wonder if it's actually Earth X where the Nazis won World War II. Holy shit!
Oh shit! Really?
Are there no minorities in this universe? Are there no black motherfuckers?
Is it bad we did not notice that? No.
I didn't notice that at all. No, we don't see color. Oh,
are we the baddies?
Are we the baddies? Yo, the Judo Master is back. To be honest, I wasn't going to bring that up because I completely forgot. But he is back.
I can't remember his function in the first season. I need to.
Me neither. I think he was an asshole. I know
Yeah.
that. But I didn't watch season 1, so I forget like his relevance to the story.
Mm-hmm.
Did Vigilante beat his ass? Somebody beat his ass. Was it Peacemaker himself?
Maybe. But yeah, Economos is clearly taken aback in a negative way that he's around.
Yeah, Draven, fill us in on like the important bits. If you're still here, Draven, fill us in on the important bits of what the judo master did. He was working for the butterflies. Why was he working for the butterflies? Did he know they were aliens?
Was he taken over?
Was he taken over?
Were they able to cure people who are taken over by it? No, because they're like living. They're operating the brain, aren't they? That can't be the case.
Yeah,
I did think.
so.
I did think he died in the first season. I think, but maybe that didn't happen.
Maybe it didn't happen. Draven's gonna fill us in. Encyclopedia Draven.
I'm a fraud.
We all are. He got beat in the head with a crowbar, shot and tased, and still lived. Jesus. Wow. Okay. Well, he's back, baby. Living his life in the van. But yeah, he's back. Rick Flag Jr. is back in the other universe. But yeah, so going back to Draven's question, is this universe as good as it seems? I still think it just is. Like the whole Nazi twist will be very, very James Gunn like big. I would love the hell out of that. Like if this universe was actually like not good, like something bad happened, like that would be amazing. Because again, I'm taking it on the chin that when Chris says best dimension ever, it is, but that's not a good thing for Chris's development. Yeah. On the other hand, it could be best dimension ever. Psych, like Draven said, this dimension is kind of fucked, and it's going to cause Chris to get the hell out of there. Because again, Chris's father is like a hero in this universe as well, and in our universe, he's a racist, motherfucker.
Yeah.
He might not be that way in this universe. He might not be like, crazy or whatever. I just took it at his word that's like, oh, he's not a racist here. He's fine here. He's a hero here. But he could just be a racist and also be a hero. He agreed with their plan to take over for the greater good. Okay, interesting. Good to know. Thank you, Draven, so much.
I feel like my one case that it wouldn't be that twist of a universe would be because I think that would make it too easy for Chris to be able to hop away from these people because he's integrating himself into their lives to such an emotional degree that I think we need that pop of not comeuppance, but like, that just like face what you're doing for Chris's character. That if they were all just like, oh, secretly we're also Nazis, like that's too easy to be like, all right, now I don't give a shit what I've done to you people because you are Nazis. Even if it is the faces of people I care about.
That's a good point. The Sons of Liberty could have actually been the rebels.
And it would have been interesting. That would be an interesting thing if that is the case. You good?
Oh. Am I good? Am I back?
Yeah, you're good. Oh, are you back? I don't know.
I got delayed. Wait, let me come back and come back in.
Right on.
And
we'll be right back. Until then, drum roll, please. He's not back yet. We'll try it again. Nope. Third time's a charm, guys. Third time. If he's not back by the third time, stream's open. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it today. I'm just kidding. We'll wait for him to come back. It's funny that there's sound effects in StreamYard. It's just it's a lot of funny, and I made like some custom ones for it. And when we go through topics, that's been really fun. I'll probably do like the Nickelodeon cheer. He's back.
I'm back, baby. How's it going?
I think you're good. Say something.
Hello, hello, hello.
It was a little delayed. I don't know if that's me though. Say something again.
Hello.
Yeah, he's back. Yeah, we're good.
Okay.
We're good.
Cool. So yeah, what did Javen say here? It would be a callback to the Suicide Squad where they killed everyone in the camp because they thought they were the bad guys, but they were actually the freedom fighters.
Oh yeah.
That makes sense. That makes sense. A lot of sense. Because I don't even know what they were fighting against in this episode here. There was something they were also obviously upset about, but we don't really get that kind of recollection.
They said they were specifically targeting different government facilities until they get what they wanted. I don't know if it's just like the government sucks, which yeah. So maybe that's just it. I don't know.
Yeah, I think Draven might be on to something there. I think I should be paying more attention to like Chris just so mercilessly killing everybody from the Sons of Liberty without even knowing what their cause was. But they were about to blow up an entire building and hope like the entire like park around it. There was a lot of innocents that could have been killed during that. So it was like
they had hostages.
Good that like their plan was thwarted. They had hostages, yeah. So it's like they were up to no good. So maybe we shouldn't be like taking them at their word too much here. But it's a very interesting subject. I wonder. I'm so intrigued by this universe. It could be one of those two things. Either it's a good dimension, or it's very very bad.
Now
we'll just have to see along the way what's going on.
Granted, if their hostages were also Nazis. Maybe.
Right. So you never know what might happen here. But yeah, I just thought the whole 1 minute army sequence was just very, very cool and well directed by was this James Gunn? I don't know who directs these episodes.
No, this is a different guy. I'm trying to remember.
Different guy. But yeah, it was the whole like killing somebody with a printer or copy machine against a wall was brutal. One of my favorite sequences was when they were all into the stairwell. Chris comes out of the corner and just shoots them all one by one, just like so, like boop 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 boop. I'm like, wow, like Chris was just so like on it and just like quickly wrapped up the situation, and then just like so easily disarmed the bomb. So easily. That was just both very funny, but both like very fitting for the character.
I love that moment when he like at that final moment where it just fizzles out. He has that sense, like not only like the sense of like, oh my god, I'm still alive, but also the sense of like, oh my god, I did it. I saved everybody.
Yeah,
I was a hero.
I saved the day. Which again, yeah, right. Like this is something that's new for Chris because again, in his universe, he's getting drunk, he's having these orgies. He's getting dissed, laughed at by the Justice Gang. And here he's getting praise. Like it's a sharp contrast to what's going on in the other route. Killed to do with pencil. That was a brutal one too, where he's just like putting that into his head.
He's holding him in the air by that, and then still like working it. It's like, oh god,
that was insane. But great job, Chris. But yeah, and again, meanwhile in the other universe, they seem to be very on to like what's going on with Chris. I don't think they're ever going to make their way to the other dimension though. I think they're always just going to be looking for Chris. I don't know like what but maybe they do actually. Maybe they do make their way to like where Chris's dimension is, but I don't see that happening.
I could see that happening if like sooner than the finale they find out that this isn't their Chris and that he killed their Chris, and then they're gonna like come for him in his world. I could see that.
That could be happening as well. Yeah, it's gonna get very messy very fast for Chris. So we'll have to wait and see there. But yeah, I think that's about it for the episode. Very, very fun episode. Harcourt continues to be like a very messy character in her daily life. I love her scenes with Adebayo. I continue to love Adrian, just thinking he's like the best friend to Chris. You know,
and the best animal facts
all
person ever when he's just not.
Yeah.
Again,
that's also something that should not be.
Really love that scene where like Economist is woke up. He's still in the tub from waking up, and he's like, "Quiz me on spiders." It's like, all right, how many eyes does a spider have? Which is just so easy. It's 8. And he's like, eyes naturally come in a pair. 2. Economist like, they have 8 eyes. I had to look at my phone because you said that so confidently. I had to double check. It's so good.
That was fantastic. But yeah, great episode. And again, I'm loving how we get these stories week by week. We're not rushing through this season at all. We still have a lot of episodes to go.
It's so nice to like just get an episode and then like there's that little like extra step of development and we can like really reflect on like what does this mean for the full character. It's not just like, oh, we saw the full journey. Like, no, let's see like how this little moment is affecting him on the grand scale.
Big time. I'm happy with the release schedule and what's going on here with Peacemaker. But yeah, let's end things off here with some Alien Earth. Wow. What the hell, Nathan? The production value? Hello?
I love that sound.
That's amazing. That's so good. Was that first? That was from the very first Alien, right?
Yeah, I don't think it's an in-universe siren. I think it's like the trailer sound.
Yeah. Okay. I always wonder, was like these iconic franchises. I'm like, was that a sound like in the first movie? Because you know, I always think back to like Star Wars, where it's like the Imperial March starts in Empire, but it always just feels like it's always been there.
Yeah, but then like when you get to something like a Rogue One during that time, it's like they kind of implement the Imperial March, but it's not the full thing because it's integrated into like the first Imperial sound. Another big thing that I think is fun with Alien is like they always use the iconography of like you can see on this Earth right here, that crack that comes from the crack of like the egg from the teaser poster, which is not the alien egg in the actual film and series, like the one that opens up. It's just like a normal like egg that cracks. That's not how the xenomorph egg works, but like it's so iconic from that poster that they still use it in the marketing today.
Wow, I didn't even realize that. So yeah, the egg in the OG teaser poster is very different from the egg, which yeah, like you know, we're so used to seeing egg
that they filmed.
Yeah. Oh, I gotta watch that after this then. See what
it's a great teaser. It's really good.
What the egg looks like. I think I've seen it before, but I never like really looked at the egg too closely. Interesting. But yeah, Nathan, what are your thoughts on this episode 5 of Alien Earth? Wow. What were your thoughts?
So I always feel a little trepidatious when I'm like so invested on cliffhanger stuff from the characters I've been developing, especially like halfway into the season, and then it's like, oh, we're gonna take it back, and I'm like, oh damn, but I want to see what Wendy's doing with like talking to xenomorphs. But then we get here and I'm like, okay, we're gonna get a classic Alien movie and the breakdown of the ship. But it's even more interesting because not only like are all the characters like very fleshed out for the short amount of time we have, the 1 hour, but it's not just the xenomorph, right? Like hell, most of the episode is not the xenomorph like wreaking havoc. Like it's the inciting incident of like the ship going into turmoil with the crew, but it's all the other aliens breaking out to various horrifying degrees that we're going to talk about. But I really did like seeing the spiral into chaos of the functionality of the crew and the ship going under. And then when the xenomorph finally does come in, I'm like, God, even when I know how this is all going to wrap up, right? Like Morrow will be the sole survivor. He's going to close off. Even like the captain in charge, how we know, like we saw from the first episode, the xenomorph's going to tear her up. But I'm still watching her scenes running away of like, God, is she going to get away? I hope she makes it.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, man. Like, I'm with you as well at the point of being so nervous that we're taking a step back, a surprising step back, given all the build-up that was happening at the end of episode 4 with like the upcoming invasion for like Prodigy Island and the whole plan with Slightly. I was so invested in that. But also, I've been saying consistently for the past 4 weeks that, like, or 3 weeks now, that I've been loving the character of Morrow. So when I realized instantly that this is going to be a Morrow-focused episode in the style of like an OG Alien movie, I am fully on board. My worries are washed away. And like you said, I was fully invested in all the character relationships, the dynamics, the vibe, the tone setting that was in this episode. This is directed by Noah Hawley because he said he wanted to do his own like mini Alien movie, and I think he accomplished that very well here. Getting a very character-focused episode within Morrow, providing some depth for his character, while also giving us that intense, paranoia-filled intrigue within this episode. And like you said as well, the beauty of this episode isn't that it's like, oh, it's chaos, the aliens going and is killing everybody on the ship. But no, there's just a lot of mystery and intrigue with like who is the saboteur. It was kind of like playing like in an episode of Among Us where one of us is messing with the ship. We're gonna figure out who it is. And while this paranoia is happening, while people are at their lowest because their missile turned into an arrow going straight towards Earth, like when that happens, these characters start like doing a lot of things, making a lot of mistakes, and like also the other major alien antagonist in this episode was the eye alien. I don't know what we're calling it, but like
I think just the eye.
That, just that eye creature is. So it has always been one of the more intriguing alien creatures. It's definitely like the only ones getting any kind of focus in this series. The other one was like the weird arm thing that does like this or whatever.
I think that's going to be a big thing in the later episodes. If I were to guess.
Probably. But this alien, like we know, like from episode 4, that it's super intelligent. And we see its intelligence in full effect in this episode. Like knocking on the window, like it was from a rival or something like that. I'm like, this is crazy.
It's
this is insane.
The ingenuity of it is phenomenal. Just like break down what the eye does, like the fact that like it's testing its limits. There's so many like subtle things of like, hey, there's the domino effect that's gonna happen. Like she goes to put the eye into the machine, but the top clamp doesn't latch. She's too distracted talking to somebody and they don't notice. So then the eye's like using the centrifugal force to knock the glass down and break out. And then I was so captivated by what it was doing when it took over the engineer's body. And it was just the engineered human, not the Prometheus. And it took over. Like I was like, see like slightly bulging eye, but I was like looking, I was like, if you weren't like looking for it, it's not like it is noticeable, but it's not as standout popping out as I thought it would be in human eye. So I'm like, that's interesting. And it goes into my like theory expectation later that I said in the past recording, where I was like, I could see them doing something like that on Prodigy, where like it takes over a human host and then puts on some shades to hide keep its anonymity.
That'll be scary as fuck if it ever did that. Because like, holy shit, that's like, hey dude, why aren't you talking? And it's just like walking around with shades on. Like that's nerve.
But also, Evan, imagine if it learns like the vocal cord patterns to actually like sell itself. That would be so eerie. I would love that.
That would be the best thing ever. That would be so scary. But it's funny how we had a whole conversation last week about like what this eye creature is capable of, and kind of both of our theories happened. I said like by the end of this series, we're going to see this eye creature try its hand at a xenomorph, and it tried it. This episode didn't go too well.
I was so captivated by that. Like at first, like the eye is in the human, and it's just like, all right, I'm gonna fucking just deck the xenomorph. I'm gonna go for it. Not something I expected. That would just be like a versus at all. So that was intriguing to see. But then, like, obviously, it's gonna tear apart the human host. And then, it tries to go for the fucking eye because, for all we know, this could be an alien as well that's like immune to acid in its biology. We don't know. It totally could be. So if it does try to implement it, probably could, because like I had told you before, like the xenomorph does have sockets behind like that dome, like a human skull face in its skeletal structure. So obviously, like that's probably like really tough skin to penetrate. But like if it did, could you fucking imagine if it was operating a xenomorph? How terrifying that would be! You just see like this one bulging eye out of the xenomorph walking around screaming. Oh,
That would be unreal. But what's interesting is that we don't see the full effect of it. We see it attach itself to the alien. The alien starts flashing out. But the next time we see the alien, it's like it cuts back to what we saw in the first episode, where it starts going after the girl and Morrow. So we don't know the effect, but we do know like the eye eventually separates itself and survives the crash.
It attaches to the cat.
To the cat, exactly. Was the cat in this episode? Am I blind? Did I miss the cat?
The cat's in the episode in a couple of shots, but we don't see it get taken over by the eye.
Okay. I must have missed it. But yeah, so that was just unreal, incredible. And again, the whole scenario with the eye and the other scientist. I know she's a smart person. She wouldn't be in charge of these alien creatures if she wasn't smart. But her lack of like security protocols or anything, it's like, why are you just like talking to these aliens? Why the lid was wide open?
Oh, okay. So the hatch of the lid was closed, but there is like an actual like cap for it, which wasn't on. Which as soon as I saw
why was the cap
not on? I was like, why the fuck didn't you put that on? That is terrifying as hell. I was also like, but even before like what happens to the water bottle, she like sets it down. There's like big like globs spilling of water, and instantly my brain was like, "Fuck, how's this gonna get infected in proximity?" I was instantly worried. I could not have expected the disgusting nature of the tadpole laying that was to come, and then just like the added suspense of like, when the fuck is someone gonna drink this? And please don't let me see it. I don't want to see this.
That was, oh my god, the slow build towards like the whole focus on the water was so good. It's her
that's gonna do it.
Yeah, you do, and then it's just like the poor, innocent, not that intelligent new engineer assistant. Didn't really turn out that well for me. So, by the way, was this alien that spit in the drink? Is this the same alien with the neck bursting thing, or is this a totally different creature?
Yeah, the blood sac tick. It's the same one.
It's the same one. Okay. Yeah. Because I was kind of confused. I was like, I don't see it doing its blood thing. Like this episode, we just see it just like laying its eggs in the guy's lungs, basically, and like wreaking havoc. Oh, and by the way, so when it's in the kid's system, they open up his chest and they're trying to like separate it. It blows up acid. Is that what happened?
It's some sort of noxious gas that instantly made their eyes bleed. I think it's just kind of like it was just like naturally drawing out the blood. It's very blood based in its attacks, so it just instantly was like a contaminant, like a pathogen.
Because it was like a big green burst of like some kind of poison or something. I didn't know if that was an effect of the creature or something. I was kind of
definitely of the creature, because it was it didn't do that until it was about to be removed from the host, when like the doctor was trying to pry it off with the tongs, and they just went psh, and instantly they fucking just bleed from the eyes and they start like seizing up, and they had to hit like the contaminant blast, and just like, all right, well,
yeah.
And that's such a great effect of like this captain trying to maintain control and trying to make the best decisions. Like, we're going to save this kid's life. And in choosing that, we have now killed 3 people at once, which is a terrifying thing for her to be going through after losing the guy that she was with, and then these 3, and Morrow constantly being on her ass to try to take control for the good of the company and the cargo.
Yeah. So it was very bad, very, very weird. But yeah, let's dive into Morrow as a character here. We learn a lot about Morrow as a character. We know this was maybe you can help me break this. Yeah. Oh yeah, go ahead.
It was in regards to his daughter and like leaving Earth.
I was going to get into that. Okay, yeah.
Okay, so I specifically wrote this down. This is just like to sum up like what was laid out on the paper. So Morrow left his daughter on Earth when she was 11. 8 years later into his mission, she died in a fire at age 19. Had she survived Morrow's 65-year absence, because that's how long his mission statement was, he would have reunited with her when she was 76, which is a wild thing to like agree to.
Yeah, that was the thing that was so shocking to me. He has such an emotional connection, obviously, to his daughter, some very heartwarming scenes by the beach, but he accepted a mission that he would probably never see her again. Like, that's crazy. I was like,
Yeah.
did he not know this was going to be 65 something years? But he obviously did, right? So
I
this
think
was
like
shocking to me.
I think he did, and it's also just like in terms of like the physical capability of doing this, it's all a matter of like getting to your destination through cryo sleep, just sleeping however many years it
Yeah.
takes to get there, do your job for like maybe like what, like a couple of months in the grand scheme of things, and then back into cryo again and again until you arrived home, duty's done, you got your share of the profits of the mission, and your whole life. And that's the thing that the engineer was getting into, like how is like he left his wife who is now like as old as his grandmother by this point, and like they just kind of like cycle you into the idea of like, yeah, I'll do another mission for you, sure. Like my life is already gone now. What good do I have except for this? Let me just keep building up my bank for whatever until you're just out of it. And we also know Wayland Utani is like such a like a lot of the even Prodigy, they're just like such fucked systems of oppressing their workers in the sense of like, oh, you only have like this much time left of your contract. Oh, actually, you have to fulfill it, or your contract has been extended because that's what we said, and you're locked into it. And like, what are you gonna do? Like, let us arrest you? Who cares? Do our work.
Right.
It's crazy.
It goes to show this is a very pivotal part of like how this universe is very I guess unceremonious and you know just not safe and not like good for people's like well-beings with their loved ones, their families. Like we talk about it with like Alien Romulus, and the other Alien franchise. Like people are away from their families for such a long period of time. For like you mentioned, a job that takes probably like a week or a month, and at the end of the day, their lives mean nothing to them either. Like it's a 65-year journey, and their lives mean nothing.
Yeah.
Which was a pivotal part of this episode where Morrow is taking control, or willing to take control, because the other woman, I think Zarya, or I forget her name, Zoya, but the captain in charge, because the other captain died,
Yeah.
she's trying to like do this at a like on a human level. Like we should wake everybody up. We should warn them what's happening. We should do this like pretty human instinct kind of thing. Tomorrow has to be the one to be like, no, we can't do that. Like that is not the case here. We are not, as important as you think we are here. Um,
Yeah.
it was
It,
crazy. Oh,
it
and uh, question for me, like, was he already a cyborg prior to the mission as well? That's kind of what was alluded to at the end of the episode, right?
yeah, for sure. Like they even like bring up while he's interrogating people in the before the mission, like terms like the flashbacks with his daughter and everything.
Yeah, yeah,
Yes, that is confirmed by the end of the episode when he's talking to uh, a descendant of Utani, how her grandmother took him in, and he didn't understand at the time, just this like feeble boy who had like a weak arm at the time, but she saw like something scrappy in him, someone so devoted to survival that she like helped him out and like gave him an enhancement in the arm to make him be able to fulfill what he has internally to complete whatever missions at hand and like use him in service of the company.
exactly. Like I think he mentioned like some kind of palsy, something within his arm,
Yeah.
something like that. But yeah, I loved learning more about that from Morrow. I love seeing like the progression of him as like a leader, the science officer here, on board the Maginot. And
Yeah.
then just like his connection with his daughter. It's like this was a fantastic character focused episode from Morrow. The actor is just going above and beyond for this show. He's incredible.
Yeah, he's doing fantastic. I do want to say, like, when you were talking about the ideas between the captain Zara, maybe her name, and Morrow, just like
Yeah.
their dynamics of like how to lead the ship, it was making me think of back to like Alien Covenant between Catherine Waterston and Billy Crudup's character, of
Oh
like how
yeah.
to like lead like this crew, and like because they weren't the original captains, because uh, James Franco died, he was the captain, Covenant, but Billy Crudup has to step up and take command of the ship, and he's clearly not able to connect with the crew. He doesn't have that set of respect and stuff, and that was also evident in this episode where like she's trying to lay out everything that's happening with the saboteur and everything. And everyone just keeps like openly talking around the circle, like nobody's taking this meeting seriously until Morrow just fucking like has had enough. And he's just like, fucking listen. Like, your shares are at stake. I don't give a shit what's going on. I'm going to interview every single one of you, and you will all lose your fucking share until you can prove otherwise that you are not trying to ruin this mission for all of us.
It was amazing. And I think the episode did a good job showcasing his, like, powerful, like, aura, basically. When he wakes up in his underpants, and people still, like, get up straight when he comes into the room, because that's just who he is as a character. Like, he demands respect even if he's not like wearing all his clothes. Very funny.
And that was the big thing from the jump, right? Is like he comes in and immediately he's like trying to assess the damages, like, well, how did this happen? And people are like, all right, well, can we like take him in? Like, someone's died. And Morrow's like, no, you want to make sure this isn't happening, and I need to know what happened and how everything is spiraling out of control. Which honestly, you can understand.
And I liked, for sure. Like, I completely understand. People were too busy, and it's funny because he was asleep during the initial onset of it. But they, like, explosion happened. The alien creature gets onto the captain's face, and apparently they tried removing it instantly, killing the captain. They put the other one into like I don't think did they instantly put into cryo, or was it him that told them to put it into cryo? I think it was still like on the hospital bed at the time.
Yeah, he was on the bed. It might have been Morrow's. I can't remember whose, but like, yeah, they had the idea of like, okay, I think Morrow was like championing the idea of preserving whatever creature infection is inside, so they have him put into instead of like trying to like do any like further surgery. They were just like, hey, we're not going to like lose any form of the assets anymore, so we're just going to put him into cryo. Did find it interesting, the idea. So this, welcome here in terms of like the Alien franchise. So this is an interesting bit in the factor that putting an infected person from a facehugger into cryo didn't work because they have separate biology that the implemented infection and the facehugger didn't get affected. Like, obviously, like the body is like in stasis, but like you could even see, like, even though it's like freezing over, facehugger's like still moving around the neck, and obviously like the embryo still popped out. Makes it interesting from the factor of like going to something like Alien 3, which is kicked off from the fact that like there happened to be alien eggs on board, which end up killing Hicks and Newt in their sleep. Well, they died upon like impact of the crash, but that's because like there were facehuggers attacking, and Ripley was infected from that. Even though it's crazy how long she went throughout the movie without the chest bursting, but she gets infected in the. I guess she's infected in the crash, and I guess it's not really in the event of like pre-stasis, but the idea that it potentially kind of shakes whatever canon in 3 and 4, which is like the farthest the franchise has gone, and we haven't like revisited or touched. It makes me wonder, like, are they going a bit of the route to like just rewrite over that, like 3 and 4, to just like go from aliens back in the canon? So like if they want to do something in the future, like, hey, we have Sigourney for real here. I don't know. It is maybe think something interesting, because I remember I pitched you the idea of like if they want to do something crazy with like Alien Predator with like the stasis in both franchises in these characters. It's possible.
Yeah, definitely is possible. Like I still think that aspect of cryo is definitely going to be pivotal for any kind of movie moving forward within this franchise. But I'm right there with you, where I was kind of surprised by the alien still being active even within cryo. Like you said, that's pretty interesting. But it makes the explanation they gave us makes a lot of sense. So I'm like, okay, cool. I get it. So yeah, that was just a very cool aspect of the episode. And yeah, I liked the whole mystery angle. And let's finally unveil the lid here, Nathan. But it was Boy Cavalier who kind of jump-started the whole crash in the first place, which was something I should have seen coming, but I totally didn't.
Well, Boy has like sold on like previous episodes how like gobsmacked excited he is about like, oh, look how lucky we got that this just landed on our lap. Like he's selling it, like he sold it to me. But like this was all premeditated from the jump, which is even greater build up for like whatever comeuppance he's going to face by the finale. Maybe he gets away and we get to see do. Who knows? But it's going to be very intriguing to see where things go moving forward. And I would definitely like love to also talk about like the functionality of like the alien species and Wayland as a whole in regards to the series where we're at, because we're just before the events of the first Alien movie.
Yeah, go ahead. What are you thinking?
Well, I did find it interesting, like reflecting about the idea of obviously they've gone through like the big stuff with Prometheus and Covenant where Wayland was involved with the different instances with like the pre-xenomorph stuff in Prometheus, but then also the big actual like David creation or like recreation of the xenomorph biology in Covenant, and obviously we have like such a big gap there, and then you get to something like Romulus, which is in between both Alien films, and when you get to Aliens, like it's such a big factor of like this is such a danger that Ripley keeps trying to warn the company about, but obviously the greater detail is like they want to get every single time they want to get the egg in the xenomorph because they want to use it presumably for the same function that like Prodigy is doing like tests with these alien creatures. Like you can either use it for like weaponization or medical advancements for whatever the biology has to offer for dissections and things like that, as many like developed species that are discovered are. But then I often forget in the first Alien film with like Ash and his primary directive of trying to secure the cargo for Wayland, just as Mara was doing in this. Ash already is aware of what the xenomorph is and how it is a perfect organism, how it isn't killable. Like obviously we're seeing here, Wayland Yutani has had interactions with the xenomorph before. Hell, even the factor of like in Alien Earth here, like how they have all these species, like somehow they were able to like find a location where there were xenomorph eggs already like hatched, laid. I don't know if that's effective. Like maybe we'll touch on that storyline of a through line with David and stuff. I would hope to revisit that someday. But the fact that like they're out there and they're just there, not just on LV-426 in the first Alien movie, but like, or maybe that is where they visited. I don't know, or other locations, and the fact that it's just out there,
maybe,
and that Wayland is aware multiple instances of the xenomorph, and they're just so captivated. Like, well, we have to like lock in and find a way to secure it. Hell, they even did at a point, I believe, in something like Romulus, because they had like 70 fucking facehuggers on like a frozen packs in that one room, remember? Like they're actively like working, and every time like obviously it keeps crashing out and going to shit, and all these like facilities go to hell, but because they're one of 5 corporations that run the planet and are one of the richest companies in the galaxy, it's just like, all right, well, that's fucking tax write-off, isn't it? We're gonna keep going because one day we're gonna fucking get it. That captivates me so much. Like, and I hope with the inclusion of Yutani in the series that we get more explanation of like, why are you so hell-bent on securing this thing? And if that is just like maybe a one-sided thing on Yutani's function, because we don't see the Wayland side of things. We've seen it in regards to like Alien 3 and even Aliens. I think like they explain like Bishop was made in Wayland's image, but since the events of Prometheus and Covenant and like Guy Pearce's Wayland dying in that film, makes me wonder like who is like the proprietary functioning CEO of Wayland Yutani? Is it just Yutani herself? Is there a Wayland side? Are they at odds? Are they working together? I don't know, but it intrigues me to see more development of the company.
Yes, and I think this show, because it's a longer form style of storytelling on TV, and we're getting a major focus on Yutani more so than any other Alien story, I think we're out of the money there, that we'll learn more about the differences between Yutani and Wayland. And don't forget our main instance of like objective for this show in general. it's immortality, which connects strongly with what we got in Prometheus and Covenant, that example of Wayland wanting to live forever. Like this example, this strive to live forever is a big goal for like Wayland and Yutani. So I think that's going to be a major focus of discussion as we get later into the series. But also your notion of like, they got tons of aliens in Alien Romulus. They got a lot of aliens in this series.
So
where are they getting it from? Yeah.
That's actually like a big thing. I know like the creatives said they're not really like doing stuff to explore connectivity to Prometheus and Covenant. But inherently they kind of are, because when you do like look at what they were doing with Romulus, Prometheus 5, the goo that they're extracting it actively from the embryos of the facehuggers in the tanks and getting the DNA from them, because their explanation, as Rook, who is the same Ian Holm, was explaining, that their idea was to also reach immortality by combining, well, no longer just like trying to like hunt the xenomorph to be like a weapon. Is like, this is like, let's transform humanity to be like them, to be that perfect organism, to get humanity. So I think if they try to like these were Romulus and this is developed so close together that I could very much see a through line through the production with Ridley Scott and everything, that they could be like, oh yeah, in the race against Prodigy, they also want to achieve the immortality thing, and they believe the xenomorph to be the key.
Yes, 100%. But then that goes into, that's for Wayland and Yutani. What possibly does Boy Cavalier want with this? What is going to be his new like eureka moment with these aliens after he's already made a giant leap in immortality, possibly with the creation of the hybrids, and how that's going to factor into Wendy, who can now communicate with aliens.
Yeah, I don't think Boy has thought as that far ahead. I think his primary focus was like, hey, all right, there's alien things. Let me gut the competition of Yutani a little bit. Let me have those assets and then see what I can bring from the table. Obviously, his main focus, even talking to the Saboteur, is the development of the synthetic hybrid bodies. And like, obviously, that's obviously such a big factor in the world that they live. Is like, you've achieved immortality. Holy shit. Maybe. Probably not. But that's their big running thing. But also, as soon as he gets these different creatures, he's exploring like, okay, well now what can I gain from this? It's all greed, right? From all these different things. Like, oh hey, look, I was able to cheat death, and now I'm also going to explore these other things beyond the universe. I am the Boy Wonder. Like, I look at me, I deserve all the accolades for my achievements that I did all by myself. That's obviously the core of like his character. Like, obviously, yeah, he was going off on the ideas of building these. Well, yeah, that goes into greed as well. He's building these synthetics all just so that he can get a top mind to commune with, because he's so bored by all of his underlings and their lack of intelligence to his brain. So it all like works in tandem.
Yeah, it's insane again how this all is starting, because this guy is just bored. All his lives lost, all the chaos is ensuing because somebody's like whimsical notion of just like exploring the unknowable with these aliens. But yeah, just a chaotic episode. I love the chase sequences at the end with the alien. Just like again, the slow build to like craziness to just unpredictable chaos. It was so incredible. And then just getting like the short snippet of like the alien crashing in on Morrow too. Phenomenal stuff.
There's so much like a magic in bringing the xenomorph to life, because clearly there is a person in a suit on set, and there's also puppetry. We've seen behind the scenes stuff where there's like so much like mechanics and getting like the facial shell to work in a moat. But God, like the transition they're able to do between the practical and the computer generated elements, like obviously there's like some enhancements where like it's hopping around the ship and like scurrying through when it's chasing her through the corridor, and we even get the POV shot, which is great. But like they're really good at creating the sense of weight with like someone who's like in a heavy suit. Like it moves. It's not like, when you look at something like Covenant, it was moving so slick and fast, and it's like so like spindly and lean that it takes you out a little bit, because you're realizing, well, that physically can't be a person, because the way they're moving and with like how thin it is, it can be a person's suit. But they emphasized on such like the size of it on set in a lot of the shots and the close-ups, and then when it's moving and scurrying around, like it, like sometimes they do the thing in like the hotel, right, in the second episode where it breaks into like that house party in one of the apartments, and like it scurries, and obviously they sped up the footage a little, but that still is like a person in a suit like scurrying. But then, oh my god, Evan, they do an incredible shot where like it's banging on the door to where like the infected engineer is in with the eye, and it can't get in, right? So then this is amazing, because you think this may be like a trick of like the range of the set, because the Xenomorph is just like, all right, fuck it, and then it like crawls on the wall and like towards camera, but on the ceiling, and it's like, oh shit, that was a great shot. And then in the same shot, without cutting, Morrow comes out of a vent, like right side.
That was so cool. Yeah,
and I'm like, how the fuck did you blend that? That's amazing. Did you wire work the fuck out of that? It was so fluid. It was so good.
It was so seamless. I love that. That's very funny that you brought that up in particular, because that was a shot that me and Jen were like, oh, wait, cool. Wait, how did they actually do that? That was very creative. But Nathan, like the whole chaos here at the end of the episode, it just reminded me so much of Alien Isolation. It was the way that Alien was navigating and like trying to get into locations, and it couldn't. And Morrow was like right there. I'm like, oh my God. Again, it was just so like unnatural and so funny at the same time.
Yeah. I love it. I love when he's like it's in the vent over the interrogation room, and gets that creepy guy. Like all those different elements.
Yeah.
Yeah. I still don't know what that guy's deal is. He just
insane.
Is a creep. Just is.
Was he not a synthetic?
I thought he was, but then like at a point I'm like, is he not? But if he is, why the fuck does he have these feelings? What the fuck? It's weird. It feels like
I
David
didn't get it either.
Who develops a personality, but he got the wrong fucking personality.
Yeah, I think he just got a weird motherfucker personality. But yeah, I think he was definitely a synthetic. Just the way he was like hinting to Morrow about like what was happening with the cryopod, tricking the cryopod, the engineer, what was going on there.
About it. Like, why are you so eerie with this? Just fucking relay, damn
right?
It.
Just tell me. Right? So, which again makes me think he's a synthetic, because like there's no other reason to be doing that. But yeah, that's about all I had for the episode. I like the, the tale that we got from Morrow here, the story of his like his past, his mission, and cutting into the present, where we see him with Yutani, and he's fully ready to commit to his mission to get those aliens by any means possible. As we'll see what happens next week.
Wait a second. To my knowledge, there's 5 different species, right? Like including the Xenomorph, they have 5 species, but like I can only think of 4 that they have that we've seen.
Let's do a count. Like the eye creature, there's more in the one with the long appendage.
Yeah, that plant.
Like,
we have the ticks.
What are the other ones?
Xenomorph. But what's the 5th one?
Oh yeah. Your guess is as good as mine. I lost count a while ago.
I don't know if we've seen it, even in like our present day. I don't know if we've seen it. It's weird.
Maybe they'll surprise us by like the finale. It's like number 5, then the door opens and it's some like kind of creepy.
The Predator. Oh fuck.
Fucker. I don't know.
That'd be crazy.
That would be amazing. But yeah, insane shit. I'm absolutely loving the vibe of this episode. I did not expect to get like, I remember I heard a lot of praise for this episode, but I did not expect to get like a mini Alien episode within Alien Earth. So that was very special. That was very cool. And I'm even more intrigued to see what happens in our final 3 episodes here. Yeah.
Yeah, so this was phenomenal. Evan, do you have 5 minutes?
I have 5 minutes. Let's go. What's
Right
up?
on, because as happens every time, inexplicably, some Spider-Man stuff.
There's Spider-Man news?
There's always Spider-Man news. So there
Okay.
was a recent interview with Tom Holland, with some stuff in regards to working on the. I just want to bring it up. Working on the movie. Him in the producer role has been very interesting. Like he was involved with like the development of like the suit and its functionality within the project. He had talked about how he's actively like dipping into online to see like what fans are wanting from a Spider-Man story, which like be careful, Tom, because I see how the shit goes with Lucasfilm, and it doesn't happen well a lot of the time. So be careful. But it is like great to know that he does have a finger on the pulse with like what people are looking for in Spider-Man on the grand scale, not just like leaving everything in the hands of Sony, which we know isn't good sometimes, even a lot of the times. So that's good stuff. He also was brought up the idea of like what he's gonna like, what's his involvement in the future of Spider-Man again. He's always like, oh, I'm not sure, and I feel like they're gonna lock you in as best you can. Like they're like he is gonna like start reaching like RDJ levels of like financing because you're literally Spider-Man, and like they'll pay it because like they need that. So I'm sure he likes to have the comfortability to, it will probably be like in his contract and stuff to be like, I'm allowed to have like this designated time away from filming stuff back to back, but then like like I'll come back after I've like recharged. I'm sure it'll be instances like that.
Yeah. A couple of things from my take of it all. First of all, him and his like future as Spider-Man, like of course, like I think they got to the point where like there's a contract whenever a big contract whenever he signs on for more films. But yeah, he's going to be here for the next 10 years. He at least has Brand New Day and 2 other movies outside of his role in the Avengers movies. So he at least has Spider-Man 5 and 6. Now, where that goes after Spider-Man 6 remains to be seen. But I do like how he has a producerial role here moving forward. But for me, I did scratch my head about him looking online to see people's takes on Spider-Man. And like, because that is just so vague. Like Spider-Man Twitter, Spider-Man on social media is just so messy. There's never a consensus. I think the only one consensus that all Spider-Man fans can agree on is what the fuck Marvel editorial is doing with their main Spider-Man comic. Like that's about it. Like that's the only thing we can all agree on. Like they're really messing up Peter and MJ's relationship in the ongoing, situation in the comics. But like outside of that, for movies, it's always so messy. I don't know what exactly he's learning or taking to heart from like people's opinions on Spider-Man in the movies. But
just like
hopefully he has a clear enough mind.
Yeah, I think just the biggest thing to get right is just like, make sure Peter and MJ are working well. It's all we want.
Yeah, but even that, right? It's like some people want Zendaya to be a big part of these movies. Other people are like me. I'm just like, she doesn't need to be. You kind of like with the whole memory wipe thing. She doesn't need to have a role here.
Yeah, I think that's more like a factor
as well. So
I think that's like a double-edged like balance to find. Is like let's have the break at minimal for this one, and then we could bring her back into the fold and like have that proper developing romance in the adult life of Spider-Man. And I think that's also a big factor of like what's going to keep Tom around for interest. Like right now we're in like a nice setting where like he truly is like on his own ground level. There's no like help from Mr. Stark. There's no Doctor Strange team up, no Nick Fury. Like this is just like even if there are other heroes in it, it's like this Peter on the ground from scratch working as Spider-Man. I think just that aspect alone is interesting to Tom. And then post reset of Secret Wars, we can do any startup of Spider-Man, including like the traditional, like here's your photographer Peter Parker working at the Daily Bugle, because you could absolutely do it. It's a fresh new take, and I think that's going to intrigue Tom as well. It's like we're not just doing like the same thing over and over. Like we really get to like do something really fresh with Peter. Like we even get to like wrap up with like what this Peter has experienced for Secret Wars, but then we could do a couple of stories post reset, tee up Miles at some point, and then when Tom's ready to like, all right, I'm gonna take a step back from doing this, let Miles shine. It all fits perfectly.
Yeah, I think it all fit perfectly by the end of the story. And again, I'm confident just the way that Tom Holland is choosing to push out like what he's proud about with just the onset of filming Brand New Day. You can feel the new energy, you can feel the new vibe, and I think that goes a long way. So I'm confident in you, Tom. Don't let me down here. Brand New Day better be the best Spider-Man movie you've done yet.
I think it will be, just because Destin's behind the camera and Tom already has such good camaraderie on set that we're seeing from set photos and whatnot.
Yeah, it's exciting. Always never discount Destin. He worked his magic with Shang-Chi, which deserves a sequel. And I'm confident in him as a storyteller. I was already a fan of him before he did Shang-Chi, before he had a big, collaboration with Marvel. I love Short Term 12. Just in his interviews, he understands good character work. And that's like the big thing. He understands good character work, good character motivation. And, the fights are going to be great, but the character stuff is what I'm most looking forward to in Brand New Day.
Yeah, totally. And then the only other thing I had was that Mark Ruffalo was recently finally asked and approached about his role in Brand New Day, and he's like, I don't know if he's scared to spoil stuff as he is, so he doesn't want to just like confirm it, even though it technically has been confirmed. He wants to play it safe until probably a trailer, or Kevin says it's okay. But then at the same time, he's like, I very much look forward to working with John Bernthal. Like, he's really good at what he does. I've never met him. He's like, okay, all right, Mark. I do believe he's gonna have fun, and that's a whole other thing. Like I've been saying with Tom and the character, I think if rumors are to be believed, and we are truly gonna be like hearkening in on the like what makes Bruce such a compelling character with the Hulk again, and like the struggle with it, I think Mark Ruffalo is also like super excited to explore stuff like that. Like, not just like we're having fun, silly stuff with like small emotional beats and stuff like Endgame. I think we're actually going to be able to like reach like the old, like when he first started, and like that emotional depth with Bruce. And I think that's something he's super looking forward to as an actor.
I think so too. Mark Ruffalo can go a lot of places. He's easily one of the top 5, in my opinion, best actors in the MCU. I think, getting an opportunity to showcase his acting chops opposite some other people, and especially with the Hulk, is going to be very rewarding as we get further into this movie.
When this comes out, he'll have been the Hulk for 14 years.
Insane. Wouldn't have ever seen that coming, but I'm happy for him.
And yeah, it doesn't feel like he's in too much, but he's in like a fair bit.
Yeah, it really does. Yeah,
which I think is also like a thing. It's like, okay, we need to focus on Bruce as a character and like what makes it work so good. But that's all I had.
Yeah. It's okay. Yeah, you guys can find me on Twitter at HarrisEV9. I'm gonna be going to go watch some anime, and then watch some Big Brother live feeds tonight. There's something troublesome happening with the season. I'm very nervous about what's going to happen. The live feeds have been off all day, and they're going to open up at midnight. So I'm very scared about like why this delay happened, what's going to be happening. There's a lot of bad rumors going around, but we'll figure out what happens at midnight for me as a Big Brother fan. So yeah, about to head out.
Right on. And you follow me _Time Blazer, make a show called Time Blazer with co-starring Craig Salt and Evan Harris.
Playing Ben. Who would have? I don't think Ben would have done well on the Maginot during this alien crash out craziness. But who knows?
He'd probably do better than most.
Hopefully.
I got to see that, or maybe he does die. Who knows? That was all we heard of Ben. Wow. I was like, of the one sound clip I need for this podcast, it's that one because we always reference it.
That's amazing. I love that so much.
Good stuff. But you also follow me at _ Nathan Rojas, being my crazy self, obsessing with K-pop Demon Hunters as I have been. Super excited for all that's to come for that. Most popular Netflix series or show ever, movie. Like,
yeah,
I'm getting my sequel, and that's all I need. So that being said, if you enjoyed this, make sure you like button, subscribe, not already, ring the bell so you miss coverage on all things movie and TV. And that being said, hope you have a great day. Catch you guys next time.